Tensions in the South China Sea have reached a boiling point following the latest confrontation between the Philippine Navy and Chinese Coast Guard. Members of the Chinese Coast Guard boarded and used machetes and axes to damage two Philippine Navy boats. The Chinese also seized Navy rifles. Several Filipino Navy members were injured in the process. The Philippine military chief compared the incident to an act of piracy, demanding that China return the guns and pay for the damage. And joining us now to talk about this and more is Chang, author of The Coming Collapse of China and China is Going to War. Gordon, always good to be with you. So talk to us more about this incident between the Chinese Coast Guard and the Philippine Navy and what sparked it.
Yeah, this incident occurred on Monday at Second Thomas Shoal in the South China Sea. And China claims Second Thomas and about 80% of that critical body of water. That claim has no justification in international law. And in fact, the Permanent Court of Arbitration in The Hague in 2016 ruled against China's claim in the case Philippines versus China. China, though, of course, is not deterred, and it's using force to try to grab Second Thomas, Scarborough Shoal, Sabina Shoal, and other features that belong to the Philippines. Very close to the Philippines, very far from China.
Yeah, and Gordon, this isn't the first time there's been a confrontation in the South China Sea between the two nations, but it really does seem like China's aggression towards the Philippines has been steadily increasing. What's China's objective here? What's going on?
Well, you know, my guess, Tracy, is that Xi Jinping thinks that Taiwan is too hard a military target. And so he's decided to pick on something that he thinks is easier. And the Philippines has underinvested in its military for a very long time. There are about 7,000 islands in the Philippine archipelago. It's hard to defend all of them. And so I think the Chinese are looking for an easy win. Now, the problem here is that we have a mutual defense treaty with the Philippines. President Biden and his State Department have issued about a dozen warnings that the U.S. is prepared to use force against China to discharge our obligations to the Philippines. But the Chinese seem undeterred, which means essentially that deterrence has failed.
Yeah, and Gordon, in your opinion, I mean, do you think this may reach a point where the U.S. will have to step in?
Yes, because China is going to push until it causes something that cannot be unwound. So, for instance, Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. at the Shangri-La Dialogue a couple weeks ago said that the killing of a Filipino sailor, civilian or military, would be an act of war, and he probably would invoke the 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty. This is just a case of an aggressor going as far as it can. And until the United States actually does something, China is going to continue to push. So this is an extremely dangerous situation.
Yeah, we're almost out of time here, Gordon, but I want to bring this up. Some new information about talks between the U.S. and China regarding nuclear threats regarding Taiwan. That came out recently. What more do you know about this?
Well, Beijing's representative of this Track 2 dialogue said that China would not use nuclear threats in connection with pressure on Taiwan. But China's already done that. It did that in 2021 and in 2022. And China has used nuclear threats all throughout this century. So, you know, it's sort of like what Vladimir Putin did with Ukraine. Threatened to use his most destructive weapons, gets the United States and its friends to back down. And so the Chinese have seen this, and I think they're going to do the same thing as well, despite what they said at those Track 2 dialogue.
Yeah, so much more we can talk about, but we have to leave right there. Gordon, always good to be with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tracy.